What's up YouTube, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and in this video we're going to be doing an initial comparison between the Google Pixel 2 XL and the iPhone 8 Plus. It's Google versus Apple once again, and both of these devices are offering some really interesting features. I was fortunate enough to get some very early hands-on time with the Pixel 2 XL. It looks very promising. Now, kicking off with the size differences, both of them are actually very similar in terms of the physical dimensions. The XL2 is actually a little bit smaller in terms of the height and width, but it's slightly thicker. This is quite impressive because it has a 6-inch display versus the 5.5-inch display on the iPhone 8 Plus. Now, although we do have a different aspect ratio on both devices, the 8 Plus has the standard 16:9. We've got 18:9 on the Pixel 2 XL. We are still getting more screen on the Pixel 2 XL, which is definitely great to see in a similar size body, and that is thanks to the smaller bezels that we have on the 2 XL this time around. On the iPhone 8 Plus, we still have those really large bezels on the top and bottom, and this is something that we have been seeing over the past 3 years. Now, with the iPhone 10 or iPhone X, whatever you want to call it, we do have smaller bezels, but for the 8 Plus, we still have those big bezels. Furthermore, the Pixel 2 XL actually has a POLED display versus the LCD display on the iPhone 8 Plus. Now, this means it's going to have much better blacks, better colors overall. And if we look at the contrast ratio difference, we've got 1300:1 on the 8 Plus. On the 2 XL, we've got 100,000:1. So that just goes to show how much better contrast ratio that you're going to be getting because of the POLED display. And the other advantage that you've got now because of the POLED technology is an always-on display. So this is something that we've seen on many of the devices before. It's a way to show your time and set notifications and things on your screen at all times, so you can just see them at a glance. Really useful. But Google are actually taking this a step further. They've got a new feature called Now Playing, which actually seems really cool. It's kind of like Shazam, but more advanced than that, because you're not going to have to take any physical actions. If there's some music playing in the room, then the always on display is going to show what is playing, and that is absolutely epic. I think you're not going to have to go through any steps or anything like that. You can simply tap on that and you're going to be able to see what track it is. You can go onto it on Spotify, on YouTube, and that is a very cool new feature on this always on display. With the 8 Plus, you do have 3D touch. However, this is a pressure sensitive display and you can push down harder on certain icons and things, and this is going to give you additional options. Now, in terms of the resolution, the Pixel 2 XL once again has a win here, and that is because it has a Quad HD Plus resolution versus the Full HD resolution on the iPhone 8 Plus. And in terms of pixel density PPI, we've got 401 on the 8 Plus. On the Pixel 2 XL, we've got 538, so quite a big difference. And if you are going to be using your device with a Google Daydream, this is going to be absolutely great because of that very crisp resolution. Now, in terms of the weight difference, the Pixel 2 XL actually comes in 27 grams lighter compared to the iPhone 8 Plus. We do have slightly different builds. On the iPhone 8 Plus, we do have a metal frame with glass panels on the front and back. With the Pixel 2 XL, we have a metal unibody, but we do have a glass panel just around the top. This is an evolution to last year's design. Now, in terms of which design is better, it's going to come down to your personal preference, obviously, but both of these are very premium and do feel really nice in the hand. And both of them are also IP67 water and dust resistant, so this is the same here, and that's absolutely great to see. Now, moving on to the internals, the iPhone 8 Plus has Apple's A11 Bionic chip. This has been scoring really high in benchmarks, and it's been really smooth in terms of my personal experience as well. However, it does need some software updates, I think, to fully optimize itself to utilize the 3GB of RAM that it has. With the Pixel 2 XL, you've got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor with 4GB of RAM. Now, we have seen the Snapdragon processor on previous devices, which does perform really well, but this is the first time we're going to have it on a full stock Android experience with no skin whatsoever, and it's going to be coming directly from Google. And that's something that you've got with both devices, a stock experience, which is really good, especially for updates, because you're going to be getting those right away. You're not going to have to wait around too long in order to get those. Now, in terms of which one is better, is obviously going to come down to your personal preference if you prefer iOS or Android. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. If you do want to see a speed test between both devices as soon as we've got the retail version of the Pixel 2 XL, then definitely let me know in the comments below. There's also a heavy emphasis on AR on both devices, and both of these are going to be supporting AR more going forward. So that is where you're going to be able to use your camera to place objects and things into your scene. The more app developers embrace this, the more we're going to be seeing on both devices going forward. Now let's move on to the cameras. With the iPhone 8 Plus, you've got dual 12 megapixel cameras. The first is a primary camera which has an f1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization. Then we've got a secondary telephoto camera which does not have optical image stabilization, and it has an f2.8 aperture. I've been using this camera for a few weeks now, and I really like it. It's definitely one of the best cameras out there. I think some software improvements can happen to improve the highlights and things, which can sometimes be a little bit blown out. But overall, it is a very, very good camera. It also supports a portrait mode because of the dual lenses, and that blurs the background to give you a really nice and professional look. Once again, I really, really do like this feature. We also have studio lighting effects, so this is going to let you tweak your lighting after the fact. This is currently in beta, and it does work well on some filters, but the others not so much, but it will improve with time. With the Pixel 2 XL, we have a single camera. It's a 12.2 megapixel camera with an f1.8 aperture, with optical as well as electronic image stabilization, as well as laser plus dual pixel autofocus. Now in terms of DxO mark ratings, the 2XL has actually scored higher compared to the iPhone 8 Plus. I know a lot of you guys, including myself, are not too bothered about those ratings and you want to see real world usage, and we will be doing real world usage as soon as we have the final version of the Pixel 2 XL in the house. If you do want to see those SuperSaf style comparisons, then definitely hit that thumbs up button to let me know. Now, although we only have a single camera on the Pixel 2 XL, we still do have a portrait mode. This actually works by using the dual pixel setup as well as machine learning. How well this works, we are going to have to test out when we have the final software version available. For video, the iPhone 8 Plus does get the advantage here because you've got 4K at 60 frames a second as well as 1080p at 240 frames a second. This is something that I don't believe any other manufacturer is currently offering right now, so this is really, really cool to see. With the Pixel 2 XL, you've got 4K at 30 frames a second, 1080p at 120 frames a second, and 720p at 240 frames a second, but the frame rates do not match that of the iPhone 8 Plus. Moving on to the front-facing camera, the iPhone 8 Plus has a 7 megapixel front-facing camera with an f2.2 aperture. It's actually been performing pretty well in my experience, but once again, it does blow out the highlights, especially in video. This is something that I hope Apple will be fixing with a software update. With the Pixel 2 XL, you've got an 8 megapixel camera with an f2.4 aperture, and you've also got a portrait mode from the front-facing camera. Now, I've done some very early tests with this, and it does look very, very promising. Now, this is on pre-release software, and some of the results that you guys may have already seen on social media look really, really good. This is very much thanks to Google's software. HDR Plus processing is absolutely insane. How it manages to maintain the shadows as well as the highlights. And this is something that I have praised a lot on last year's Pixels. The software is so good on images, and you get some really, really great results with amazing dynamic range. Once again, this is something that we're going to test out side by side, SuperSaf style, as soon as we've got the final version of the Pixel 2 XL in the house. Now, moving on to the additional features that both devices offer, we've got a fingerprint scanner on both. With the iPhone 8 Plus, it is on the home button, so it's at the front. With the Pixel 2 XL, we've got it at the back. Now, which one of these positions is more convenient is going to come down to your personal preference. In terms of speed, Google have claimed that the Pixel 2 XL is the fastest fingerprint scanner out there. Once again, we can do a test between these two to see which one is faster overall. Now, another thing that both devices have in common is that there is no headphone jack. I know a lot of you guys are going to be disappointed about this on the Pixel side. This is something that we kind of are now used to on the iPhone side because they didn't have it last year. This is the first year Google are removing the headphone jack, and this is something that I believe we're going to see a lot more of going forward. Both of these do come with a converter, so you can use 3.5mm headphones with both of these, and they both also support Bluetooth 5.0, so if you're using wireless headphones or earphones, those are also going to work quite well with both of these. Now, we don't actually get any headphones out of the box with the Pixel 2 XL. We do get the standard Apple earbuds with the iPhone 8 Plus out of the box, and these are Lightning earbuds. Another great thing about both devices is that they both have dual stereo speakers, so this is great for a more immersive experience. With the iPhone 8 Plus, you've got one in the earpiece and then you've got one bottom facing. with the Pixel 2 XL, you've actually got both front facing, and that's impressive to see considering that you've got smaller bezels on the Pixel 2 XL compared to the iPhone 8 Plus. And front-facing speakers are always better because you can't cover those up easily, whereas with the iPhone 8 Plus you can cover one of the speakers when you're holding it in your hand. So that is something to bear in mind, and in this case the Pixel 2 XL would get the advantage. In terms of the actual sound and things, we are going to have to spend more time testing these out. In terms of the AI assistants, you've got Siri versus Google Assistant. Now with the Pixel 2 XL, you can actually launch Google Assistant by using ActiveEdge, and that is by squeezing the device. This is something that we've seen on the HTC U11 previously this year. And now with the combination of Google and HTC now, this is something that we do now have on the Pixel 2 XL. Now the squeeze feature can't be customized as yet. It might be something that we see later on, probably not. But by squeezing the phone, you are only going to be able to launch Google Assistant. Or if you're getting a call, then you can silence it. You can switch this off if you want, however. The Pixel 2 XL is also going to be supporting Google Lens, the first device alongside the Pixel 2 to support this feature. This is a way to get more information from your surroundings. So if you see a post or something, you can just point it and ask Google to give you the email address, and it's going to extract that email address from that image. And in terms of the batteries of both devices, on the iPhone 8 Plus, you've got a 2691 mAh battery. On the Pixel 2 XL, you've got a much larger 3520 mAh battery. In terms of usage, this is going to vary, and we'll have to test this out because you are pushing out more pixels on the Pixel 2 XL. Pixels. But in my experience, the iPhone 8 Plus has actually had really good battery life. Once again, we can test these out side by side when we've got the final version of the Pixel 2 XL available. Neither of these have removable batteries, and both of them do support fast charging. On the iPhone 8 Plus, however, you do not get the fast charge out of the box. You are going to have to buy that separately. It costs roughly about £75 to enable fast charging here in the UK. With the Google Pixel 2 XL, you do get the fast charger out of the box. With the Pixel 2 XL, however, you do not have wireless charging. This is the feature that you do have on the iPhone 8 Plus, and it's the first year that iPhones do have wireless charging. Now finally, looking at the different storage versions available as well as the pricing and availability, the iPhone 8 Plus comes in either 64 or 256 GB options, and the starting price is £800 or $800. With the Pixel 2 XL, it's also going to start at £800, but it is going to be $850 for the 64 gig version, and then you've got a 128 gig version. So for the larger version, you are getting less storage compared to the iPhone 8 Plus. However, you do get unlimited storage for your photos and videos at full quality and resolution on the Pixel 2 XL. This is something that Google is offering in the cloud. It's going to be full resolution images till 2020, I believe, till the end of 2020. And after that, it's going to be high quality images. But that's still really good because that's the lifespan of the device where you're going to be getting all of that storage. In terms of availability, the iPhone 8 Plus is currently available. With the Pixel 2 XL, you can pre-order it right now, and it's likely to come in November. It looks like stock levels may be struggling a little bit, especially for the black and white version, which seems quite popular, and it's probably the version that I'm going to get. And that is the initial comparison between the Pixel 2 XL and the iPhone 8 Plus. Both do come packed with lots of features, and they are the stock offerings from both manufacturers. Obviously, the iPhone 10 is going to be coming shortly as well, and if you want me to do a detailed comparison of the iPhone 10 versus the Pixel 2 XL, then definitely let me know in the comments below. Which of these two devices do you think is better overall, and which one would you be going for? Drop me a comment below as well and let me know. Now obviously this was just an initial comparison just to give you a bit of a breakdown of the key differences. We'll be doing lots more detailed comparisons on the channel as soon as we have the latest version of the Pixel 2 XL in hand. If you want to see that first, as well as plenty more videos, then make sure you have subscribed and switch on notifications. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV. I'll see you next time.